All right, Thrive Nation. I've been waiting for this podcast for a very long time because all of you know that I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine. I've been practicing for 23 years, and I really believe in the biomagnetic fields, the electromagnetic fields that our bodies resonate. In fact, every single object resonates. And from our thoughts to our emotions to matter, everything has a resonating frequency. And a quick story for the guest, because I think this is so pertinent, is that on the 26th of March, Philip, it was our first day of lockdown, and I'm driving to work. There's no cars on the road. I'm essential services. I've got quite a full day from patients that were carrying on with their treatments. And I'm driving. There's no one. I see my secretary, and I go into the first cubicle, Philip, and there's something that hits me, a force, a field hits me that I've never felt in 23 years. And it was so strong. And I realized this when I encountered that person, that first person on lockdown that had been stopped by the authorities to ensure they had the correct documentation to see me. I felt such a force of fear, of anxiety, of worry, of trepidation. I even felt the future, that this person was just thinking in the future about all the things that were happening and the instability and the uncertainty. And then I realized, then, having been a practitioner for so long, that this force, this field can grow in strength. It can grow in its ability to travel distances. And the closer you get to this field, the stronger it is, and the power that it has to change atmospheres and to change objects. So when I heard about Leela and I heard what you're doing, I've been with different type of resonating products like Somavetic and really been interested in a lot of this field. I was so excited to get you on the podcast. You've got an incredible product list, and you've been on some fantastic podcasts. So welcome to the show, Philipp von Holtzendorff-Fehling.
Thank you, Steve. I'm glad to be here and to finally have our chat.
Brilliant. Now, I just want to give a backstory. Obviously, we've got a couple of minutes to hook people in, the listeners, and we're going to do a lot of demonstrations. So those that are listening, the audience, go to the YouTube channel, because I'm going to be taking different products like omega-3s. I'm going to be taking things like olive leaf for immune, some of my products that I use here and have been using for a long time. And I'm going to be putting it in the quantum block. I'm going to be asking these questions. I'm going to be putting my cell phone in the quantum block. I'm going to be talking about this device, the hat that blocks EMF and has studies and the research on the website. So go and check it out on YouTube if you want to see the actual demonstration of these products. But give us a quick backstory, Philip, on just your history and how you got into electromagnetic fields and biomagnetic fields.
Yeah, it's an interesting story because, I used to be in corporate Europe and corporate America. I was a vice president at T-Mobile, responsible for 14 countries. And then afterwards in the US, which was the largest footprint. At that time, I was already noticing that there's so much more to life than just the physical and the material. Actually, in the beginning of the 2000s, I started to dig into yoga and meditation because I had been at a point where I felt unhappy with myself, unhappy in my own skin, and it drove me to literally find out that there's more. And I got really curious, so I started to actually, learn about chakras. I went through shamanic workshops. I got trained in past life regression work. Then fast forward in 2005, I met my wife. She was born with the ability to see aura and all energy fields. She had never lost this conscious connection to the divine, right? To the source, which I had completely lost. And I know that more than 99% of the people, that's kind of like our path here, right? We kind of like forget why we're here, who we are. And then we're, if we tap into that, we kind of rediscover that. And then, oh my God, this world is so big, and that's the reality. So I did that in parallel, to this corporate world, but I couldn't let this real me in fully into the corporate world. Certainly I infused some of my energy and all that, but it's really not the world for that. It wouldn't allow that. At some point in 2016, I said, okay, I can't do it anymore. I just have to completely work from my heart. And that's something I saw at some point. It was, people would probably call it a vision, but for me, it was more like really like a knowing. It was like, okay, so how do we, I've been thinking about how do we help change how the system works, right? And if you just think about it with your brain, you end up at borders because you can't think that what is actually would be the optimal way. And the optimal way I had seen at the time is if everybody has these amazing qualities and aspects and gifts. Everyone is so unique. Everyone is God in that sense. And it's not about better or worse. It's about finding what is true in our heart. What should we do in life? And then if I do that, and if I can pursue that, then I have more happiness. And I also automatically add value to the system around me. That's something we can't think with our brain, but that's the ultimate state I think we're going to be headed at some point. I'm not sure if we'll still witness that, but I thought, hey, if I see that, if I feel that, I start with myself and start to just do more from within rather than from, what is expected of me. And then, fast forward, I got really into the biohacking actually already while I was still in that career, because my wife was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease. And even though she has her own healing abilities, working on yourself is always kind of like the tough thing. And she had it for like a real learning curve because she needed to learn certain things. But for me, it sparked, I got to find the next new thing. Yeah. So all that came together. And at some point, I've met so many amazing healers across the globe through, my own journey, that at some point I was like, okay, we'll do quantum technology right. We'll do it harmonious. We'll do it that, we can help people. And, we assembled a team of amazing healers that help us with the technology and with the frequencies. And yeah, that's where we are today. So we have developed some tools that are pretty cool.
Brilliant. And I want to sort of, we've got a certain amount of time, but I want to talk firstly about your knowledge on how the heart has an electromagnetic field. From what I know, it resonates like 9 feet in front of you, a radius around you that has been measured. Because I want people to understand, the products are cool. The resonating frequency is cool. Acupuncture is brilliant. A lot of these techniques are very, very important. People that have got healing hands that resonate at a certain frequency, so I don't want to dismiss all the others, but I do want to give sort of a foundation on your brain has a huge electromagnetic field that resonates. And that's what I love about this, but we'll talk about that a bit later. But tell us your background, sort of your knowledge on the different body parts and the different frequencies that resonate from us, and a little, maybe a bit of research that has been researched on the different body parts.
Yeah, so we have not done any specific research into body parts in general, and I think you can speak to it way more than I can. Certainly, we have had institutes that tested our products. In specifically, they looked at the specific organ functions, the cellular voltage in those organs, and how our products positively influence and impact those. So that research has been done, but not like in general. But obviously, I know that the heart is the main force from which we act and can act, and that the field, our own field, gets disturbed if we get into these lower states of consciousness. Like if we're dragged into fear or pushed into fear, as an example, immediately our whole vibration is lower, our field starts to shrink, even to the point where we build these huge walls around our heart, right? And we're talking energetically, right? Obviously. But we are the power. And then if we realize that, we can start to expand from there again. And in theory, it's all about, our consciousness is always there. Yeah. The full consciousness is always there. It's never gone. But what we need to do is to unlock the gates to it again more and more. And that's kind of the path. So if we're not having this connection in a conscious way and don't letting that in, we're just basically like flying blind in a way. We're just acting on this one level of reality, which is just the physical. However, if we realize our true power, that's where really the expansion comes from. That's where the love comes from that we can radiate. And that's the actual beautiful thing. So it's all about actually lifting the consciousness in a way, unlocking it. And it can be a fun game. It can be hard to
Yeah.
at
No,
times
it's
because
true.
you need to look at your own stuff. But
Absolutely. And, my wife is like resonates this field of love and light. And when I come into her, she just is the most loving person. Doesn't matter who it is in her life. And my daughter is very sensitive in terms of people that she's not comfortable with. So, I've seen it firsthand, and I've now sort of tried to fine tune my own discerning skills. But it's really fascinating. I want to sort of go straight into the product that I felt the biggest change is this heal capsule. Maybe you just want to give a little bit of sort of detail on it, the balls inside, and sort of how it works and what's been imprinted with regards to these balls.
yes, so we use our technology, which we actually also make available. Like the extension of our technology would be a quantum block or an infinity block, or nowadays even also the travel block. I'll explain that real quick what it does, because you can imprint pure quantum energy with it, and you can copy frequencies, and you can do a whole lot more. We can get into that.
Yes.
But so now we're making this capsule. Okay, so this is a brass capsule, and the brass capsule contains the primal human healing frequency as well as the primal healing water frequency, which is kind of like the source frequency, the source code of the healing waters on earth. Those specific, I think, like 7 spring waters, they're not clean anymore, they're not pure anymore, because they've been abused, they've been worked on, and all of that. So you can't find the perfect pure healing water anywhere on earth, maybe at some point in the future again. So but that source of that code is embedded in here, as well as the molecular frequencies of the most important vitamins and minerals and organic plant extracts for the human body. So you have about 78 of those in here, whether it's a vitamin C, vitamin D, there's just several. It's a perfect mix that actually we found researchers had done 3 decades of research to find the optimal mix for like all humans. So not for like a specific type, but for humans in general. And that mix in frequency form, we basically embedded. So now inside you have these titanium spheres or beads, however you want to call them, and they're charged with just pure quantum energy. And what they do, if you put them inside, they work like a booster. So they boost out these frequencies into a larger field, so that basically you have it available everywhere in your whole field. And it has obviously positive impacts in regards to your body, the bioavailability of all those nutrients that are included. And it harmonizes EMF. So it basically neutralizes the harmful effects of EMF. It improves the heart rate variability, which all has been studied, by the way. Like this sounds woo-woo, and I totally agree. Hey, this is woo-woo. It couldn't be more woo-woo, but it freaking works. And we've been testing it. And then various institutes across the globe, including doctors' practices, actually ran studies on our products, including single blind and double blind studies that were randomized. So we know what we're talking about. There's a lot of science behind that. But that it's a fun part for me, because I like the stretch of the woo-woo and the science, and then combining the dots.
Because it does sound quite woo-woo and esoteric, and maybe people have said that about me, having been in sort of the alternative field for so long, but I do know about frequencies, I do know about currents and electromagnetic fields. You do have some research. I was on your site, and because I do want to, send people there, I looked at it, research and certificates, but I can't see, supposedly there are a lot of studies. I just see dark field microscopy here by Dr. Med, University Gottfried Schuler and Biza Institute. Where can people pick up all these studies? Because I think it's really important. I mean, people know that this exists. People come into contact with certain people they don't like. There's a resistance on the field. There's sometimes a coupling on the field, someone you really like quickly. Just what I felt, all that fear, all that anxiety, all that trepidation. And I know by the end of the day, if I deal a lot with that, it just drains me. But where can people find the research, Philip?
On our website, actually. So all the research was on our website until we revamped it about a week ago. So it was a complete relaunch of the website. And now we're currently adding content. And that will be completed, I think, in the next 3 weeks. I currently don't even know myself what's there and what's not there. But we can go into multiple studies. So, we had the Emoto Institute in Japan test our products. that should be visible. And if it's not, then it should be there again the next couple of weeks. By the way, the Emoto Institute had, for the first time in their history, decided to exclusively import and distribute a product line because of the amazing test results. And that's the Leela Quantum products.
Wow. Well
that
done.
speaks more than just their study, from my understanding at least, because they're actually seeing the results and now they want to bring it to Japan. We had the BESA Institute in Austria, which is the largest biofeedback and biosystem analysis institute in Europe, independent. And they tested, I mean, almost all of our products in regards to multiple different directions. They even tested it, what the benefits for animals are, certainly for humans. They did also dark field microscopy studies, double-blind studies. And then we had the EGIV Institute in Europe, which is the largest EMF research and testing institute that's independent in Europe. They tested our products, including like the shirts and the hat that you're wearing and this capsule here. And then we had Dr. Rubik, and now I'm stopping there, in the US, who's a very famous researcher. She's done a lot of work with lifeblood analysis, and she really digged into the lifeblood analysis, all randomized and sham controlled. So all that is available and should be visible on the website. But at some point in the future, we'll actually have a complete dedicated science page that will be just all about the science, because there's so much. Literally, we have, I probably have like 700 pages of research.
That'll be important to get up there, because at the moment it's leelaQ.com/research/# and there's a few things on dark field microscopy, but I think you're probably going to update that now that you're changing that, because I think it's important that a lot of my colleagues go to that and have a look at the research. So that's great. So let's talk about like something like this. If you got the correct nutrients in your body, like you got enough vitamin C, does that harmonizing effect like harmonize it or optimize it further? Because obviously, we do bespoke medicine, we do a lot of testing, and then they do need vitamin C or they need vitamin D or they need so much. But how does it work? Does it just optimize what you've got, the Heal capsule? Because what I've noticed with this is my energy has improved significantly when I wear it. I don't know if it protects me from lower frequencies, and I do want to talk about that Hawkins scale because I think you know quite a bit about it. But does it protect me from the sort of low frequencies, and I just have a lot more energy? And then I've noticed my heart rate variability has improved somewhat. But more important than that, my deep sleep scores have improved since I started using your product. So tell us a little bit how it harmonizes, because I think this is affordable for a lot of people. We'll put the prices. This is something that people could start with. What does it do to the nutrients that you've already got in your body?
Yeah, so indeed, it protects you in a way because it lifts your own system and vibration up, right? So that's in essence what it does. Like, it doesn't block EMF, but you don't need to block EMF because it neutralizes it. It does two things. One thing, it works on the body and the energy system, that you're suddenly in an energetic state where those things hitting you are not affecting you anymore. And at the same time, because the field is so large with this one, it's about 2-3 meters in radius.
2-3 meters, wow.
Yeah, so all around, and it's almost as if, see, the EMF would be like a fist hitting me in the face, right? But now that field is there, suddenly this gets converted into a nice acupressure or a nice massage. That would be the analogy.
Okay.
That I would be giving you. So it works on that level in two ways, and that is why it improves your heart rate variability, and that is why you can measure in the blood the positive effects.
Okay.
But in terms of the nutrients, that's an additional factor. So that really comes on top of that. And there we have two groups of people. One group, and that's the minority, I must say, it's just like 5 to 10% of the people, they can eliminate pretty much taking physical supplements for these ones that are included here. And we have a complete list of what's in here in our, on our website. You can find it there. And they maintain optimal vitamin and mineral levels regardless. So that's quite interesting.
Let me just stop you there. So if I had to test them, those people, then all of a sudden, if their vitamin D was really low and they wear the Heal capsule, then their vitamin D increases. Is that what you're saying? Like it would show in a blood test?
So for this particular smaller group, 5
Yes,
to
yes,
10% of the
yes,
people, they
yes.
may have used to take vitamin C and vitamin D every
Yeah,
day, or every other day. And now that they're using this, they can eliminate that and maintain still optimal levels
wow,
for their
wow.
body. That's a minority. That's important
Okay.
to state, right? That
Yeah,
doesn't happen for everyone. And it has to, we don't really know. We haven't figured out yet why that is. It may have to do with the state of consciousness or the health and energetic health in general. We don't know. It's still ongoing research. But for the other, let's say 90 to 95%, which is the vast majority, they still take their usual
yeah.
supplementations and good food and all that, which is great. But they can either reduce some of the supplements, or the effects of those are greater, because what happens is actually the bioavailability of any such products increases, which is, again, it's hard to understand with the
Mm,
brain because you don't really do anything with the product itself, but it's almost as if the cells are more used to this core frequency of these specific nutrients, and is therefore leveraging that information in a much better way. And on an energetic level, it's quite clear actually
mm.
why that is, because if you're taking vitamin C, what is that ends up in the core of the cell? It's not the vitamin C substance, it's the information of the
Mm.
vitamin C. So you can certainly do that just on a frequency level, but it seems that most of us are not transparent enough yet to just work on the information level and the
Okay.
frequency level. So yeah, but in
Okay.
the end of the day, that's how it
Good.
works.
Good. And this, my water bottle is probably one of the best, if not the best. The water in here is incredible. So let's talk about optimization before we talk about imprinting, because I think we need to separate those two from the optimization point of view of the water bowl and the water bottle and the quantum block. How does it optimize, like say, a water bottle like this, the water inside here?
Yeah. So the beauty about water is it is very receptive to energy. So you can change energy in water very easily, frankly, much
Mm,
hotter than metal. So now we have charged this water bottle. It has a double wall stainless steel inside, and it's charged with quantum energy in the same frequencies that are included here in this capsule that I just went through.
wow.
And so now if you put water inside, or tea, or whatever,
Mm,
um, these frequencies are added and the water gets structured at the same time. So don't take water out of a dirty river and put it in there. Then you'll still have optimized water, but it'll still be dirty because
yeah,
this
yeah.
doesn't filter out anything. So you want to use filtered water for that, good water to begin with. But then from there, you fully optimize that. And even if you take water out of a plastic bottle and put it in there, then these frequencies of plastic and stuff like that are being neutralized as well. So that's pretty much how it works. And the water bottle works great. It has quite an improvement that was shown by the Emoto Institute. Um, However, so the quantum block worked even better, because so on their terms, from one beautiful crystal, the water bottle was able to produce 3 beautiful crystals in, I think, like a 20-minute period, and which is great. The quantum block was able to do 5 beautiful crystals out of one in only 3 minutes. That was
Wow.
the fastest load they'd ever seen.
Sure.
But they haven't tested the infinity block yet. That's even faster.
Okay, so let's move on to the water bottle is really cool. It's got the same sort of harmonization as the heel capsule, which I've noticed a big difference on. I assume you don't wear it at night just because it gives you a lot of energy, although I've seen a big difference. And I've wanted to talk to you for a long time. So I haven't been wearing this cap for a while, but I do want to do one thing at a time because then I can see what happens to my data. But I'm pretty sure with the brain, just talk about the cap, that it's sort of a shielding, or has it been harmonized as well? Because I've noticed like it's given me sort of like there's sort of like a vibration where if I wear it the whole day, I wore it the whole day just to remember to wear it. But tell us about the cap from a shielding perspective and harmonization point of view.
Yeah. The cap is like any of our clothing products, like this t-shirt,
Mm,
for
mm,
example, um, made with specific high purity silver fabric. So in this case, this high purity silver fabric is everywhere. In terms of the hat, it's not here in the front on this
on the cap.
side, but it's everywhere inside. Yeah. So, and you can see it, when you turn around. And so that by itself blocks EMF.
Yeah.
So that just is a complete blocking effect of over 99.9%.
Okay.
Measured, certified, and tested by the EGIF Institute. Doesn't matter what EMFs. And for some people, very sensitive people, that's amazing, because in this case, you protect your brain. In this case here, I protect all of my organs, right? With just the blocking. But we go a step further, because metals are amazing to carry quantum energy and to transmit it if you have the technology to charge them. So we charge all of our clothing products with our technology. And so you have the added benefit of pure quantum energy that is being transmitted to your brain and here to all of my organs. So you have a double effect, basically.
Okay.
One is the EMF blocking, and the other one is you get the positive energy to your organs or to your brain, which also can be measured and visualized if you look at live blood analysis or other things.
Okay.
It's quite cool.
Okay. Well, let's go a bit deeper, because this is the quantum block on the harmonization point of view, because obviously it harmonizes, but what does it mean to harmonize or optimize? How does it actually optimize? I mean, we're not talking about imprinting now. We'll separate that a bit, but how does it actually optimize or harmonize an environment, the field?
Yeah, it's a great question. So quantum energy is the energy behind matter, and quantum energy is also the energy we have in each of our cells. So and that's the micro environment, right? So if in a large environment, the energy is being changed through, let's say, an EMF soup with 5G towers all over and all of that, you start to have disruption in the specific space, right? And if you add more of the actual source energy, suddenly things come in order again. So that's pretty much a natural order and an artificial disruption. So, and the artificial disruption is basically through the natural energy put in order again. And by the way, in smaller spaces, we can do that with our own heart, like you said that initially, right? That is something, if we can expand our heart really outwards, then all the space around me instantly gets harmonized. So it's nothing different. So this is basically just a tool, and it has a way larger radius though. So this one that you're holding, the quantum block, has a radius of, it's at 45 meters.
45 meters. Wow.
Yeah, 45 meters. And the EMF harmonization and neutralization aspect is about 50% of that. So I would say, 20, 25 meter radius, it harmonizes EMF, but you can measure. And yeah, and the infinity block, the infinity block is the one with 3 plates on the top and on the bottom. It has a radius of 1 kilometer.
Wow.
So these fields are pretty big.
But what happens if I try? Did you make it like this size so I don't put my head in it? Or if I put my head in it, does it increase it? Because I assume, because I haven't done food, I haven't done my supplements, I want to talk about it. I haven't put a picture of my wife and my family in there. What I did do the first time I got it, I put my hand in here like this, like we're on YouTube, go and check it out. But I could feel after a while when I kept it, there was a slight buzz in here. So did you build it like this so you don't get your head in? Is it dangerous not to get your head in or something like that?
No, it's not dangerous at all. You can actually do that. And there are a lot of women that can do that. Most men cannot. We should have built it maybe a little bit bigger for that reason, because people like to do it. Because if you penetrate, especially also this area here, in the back of the head, it can actually be quite, it has a very relaxing way of supporting your energy. So it's actually a positive thing, except with this one actually it's no problem, but just with the infinity block, we say if someone has metal somewhere in their head, like, in their teeth, for example, never charge it for more than 3 minutes cumulative.
But
so
if I put my
metals,
hand here, is it different to putting my hand here? Because this field here, this quantum field, is obviously very, very important, this distance between the two plates.
Yeah, so the field outside is weaker than the field inside. And inside, you literally have a multi-dimensional quantum energy space, and outside you have just a quantum field. And you can measure the inside of the plates on the Hawkins scale. I don't know if you guys, when you listen.
So tell us a bit about the Hawkins scale. We haven't gone into it much on the podcast. Okay,
yeah. So David Hawkins, he was a pretty famous and super connected MD PhD, and he developed the so-called consciousness scale from 0 to 1,000, and gave different descriptions and definitions to the different levels. And that scale now is widely being used across the globe if people talk about consciousness. Like everything about, I think, 450 would go into unconditional love. At some point you have happiness, and everything between 700 and 1000, like he calls that, like that's like the enlightenment state, right? And where like a Buddha would fall in and things like that. That's the scale he set, but that's already quite some time ago. So the quantum block measures 562 on the Hawkins scale, the infinity block, the basic one, 733. But already the 7th generation infinity block, which, we have an infinity block package. If you have 2 of those physically, you can actually upgrade the concentration of the field. So if you do it the first time, you have a 2nd generation. If you do it another time, you have a 3rd generation, and so on. So if you have a 7th generation, that one is already at 1,152, which is above the actual 1,000 limit that the Hawkins even had set. But there are reasons for that, because energy on Earth is shifting and more is possible than there used to be. Like at the time where he wrote it, a level like 1,152 wouldn't have been possible with any object in physical form, at least, just on an energy form. So yeah, it's quite advanced in terms of consciousness level. And if people understand a little bit about that, what that actually means, you can understand then suddenly that you can actually work with intentions quite a bit.
Yeah.
You cannot manipulate with this, because this field cannot be manipulated for anything, frankly, that is not within the universal plan or someone's soul plan. You also could not copy fear frequencies, for example. You could not do voodoo with this.
Yeah.
You can't, because it falls through. But if something is within the realm of the possibilities of the universal plan and someone's soul plan, you can accelerate significantly the outcome. So the materialization of things or aspects, etc. And so you can work with intentions. For example, if you want to heal a certain trauma you have, and you just can't get through it, you can work with intention. Usually, if it's about becoming whole and healing things, that is always supported, because that makes us more free. And that's what's supported by the divine, if you will. And so that energy field supports that.
No, but I mean, this might be proprietary information, obviously your IP in there, but how did you set up this sort of quantum field between these? I mean, it looks beautiful, but I mean, how did you actually set the field up that is so much more powerful between, I mean, put a glass of water in here for those on YouTube having a look at and there, but I mean, how did you set that field up? I mean, you speak about healers or there's some sort of guy that you connected with. I can't remember, his Halfman or something like that.
No, it's not the latter one. So definitely not something like some intention or some goddess or whatever. No, this is real actual work, and it's proprietary though. So that's really the only thing we don't share. But it was quite an effort, and that's pretty much proprietary indeed. Yeah.
Okay, but you said you work with healers, Philip. You said I mean, the frequencies. How did you I mean, you obviously embedded that in here, I assume, to get to 562. Maybe you got sort of links on this Hawkins scale, but you know, you work with certain people that helped you.
Yes, but so the frequency parts is different. So we call this a neutral quantum energy field.
Okay.
And certainly we now with this infinity block thing, we can further upgrade, the concentration of that. But frequencies we develop separately together with certain healers, and some of them are molecular, like these, minerals and vitamins. For that, you don't need to have a healer really to do that. You would have to have a healer to look, is this an optimal mix? But we have a lot of etheric frequencies that are developed. And for example, we work with Roman Hafner. They call him the Wunderkind in Europe. He was born with the ability to see each and every frequency and vibration and energy fields. And he had to learn the physical seeing. Like, he could not see matter that you and I and most everybody else can see matter. He had to learn that over several years, because he would see everything in vibration and frequency, everything. And even today, he can even be 10,000 miles away from you, and he could tell you exactly how your room is. He could tell you how your heart is beating, if you have any issues with your intestines. Like, he can see all of that. And he can also make changes. Like, he's the most amazing and most granular healer on this level that I've ever met. That doesn't make him the best of all. I'm not talking about that. But in this field and in frequency fields, he's just unmatched. And so he can pull literally a frequency, let's say for, I don't know, inner peace, out of the ether, literally, and he can imprint it into, let's say, water. And then from there, we would use our technology to imprint it on a card, and then we have these frequency cards.
Yes.
That's pretty much, yeah.
I want to talk about it. Okay, but let's talk about, because I want to put my phone in here, and I put my phone here many times. I don't know how many times I must keep on putting it if I put it in once, but what's happening to this water? So this water is getting harmonized. I put it in there. So if you guys can see, so I put it in there. It's getting harmonized. How long do I leave it now?
So a great way is 3 minutes. 1 minute is already doing a great thing if you don't have much time, but the Modo Institute tested 3 minutes as a really amazing time frame. And what it does, it structures the water. So the water gets into its optimal hexagonal form again. That's also why you can visualize these beautiful crystals then. That's in essence what it does. At the same time, if you have any like disturbing frequencies, maybe from herbicides or pesticides or something like that, those get neutralized as well. And so it not only works for water, obviously, but you can think now further, what's all made out of water, or mainly, right? Any raspberry, any strawberry, any banana, any pineapple, any human body, right? It's all like a lot of water. So
when you put your food in here, does it harmonize it and optimize it? And you leave it in for 3 minutes, Philip?
Yeah, you go in the quantum block, 3 minutes, 1 to 3 minutes. 1 minute is already great.
All right. Are you going to make a bigger one so you can fit your plate in here? Because it's like, my wife puts a plate in, and then, so how does it work? Like, because if you take this off, then it does, the two plates obviously work together to set up the field. So is there an option to make a bigger one that you can just stick your plate in? You can't put your plate in here.
Yeah, so we have customized larger ones for like an organic juice bar chain here in the US that, charge all their smoothies that they sell in the block before. And that's a larger one. And we've been asked before. I'm not sure if we will do it. What we will definitely do is we'll do in between maybe some special sales for that, because those larger ones are then getting really heavy and difficult. But what you could do, if you work a lot with charging plates, and your food, you can unscrew one of the rods. And then it'll be way easier to put a plate in there.
Yes. Okay. So what happens, Philip, now when I put my phone, I put this, do I have to keep on putting, well, what happens first, and how many times do I have to keep on putting my phone in there to help me so it's harmonizing your device?
So in general, if you charged anything in the quantum block, the energy stays in there pretty much forever.
Forever.
There are, yes, however, and which is great because you're energetically optimizing a product. Let's say this ring here, for example, the energy that's it charged with will not go out ever. So it'll be always upgraded.
Okay.
But with the phone and with laptops and iPads is different.
Yeah.
Because it seems because they're so electronic,
Yeah.
constantly working on an electronic level,
Yeah.
and constantly doing the EMF stuff, right? We recommend to recharge it every 3 to 4 months just in case. And we actually haven't tested it. So it may be that it lasts way longer because we haven't done, okay, does it still after one year, does it still carry that? We don't know, but we recommend just in case every 3 to 4 months. And you charge it for 3 minutes, but you can leave it in there for 15 minutes in the quantum block if you want.
Okay. And after 15 minutes, you take it out.
Yes. And already after 3 minutes, it should already.
And then when you put it on yourself, it doesn't have the damaging effects. You can still measure, because I'm a geobiologist. I train in, Australia. I understand frequencies. I do a lot of home assessments, off assessment. Basically, what you're saying, the testing has shown that it doesn't have the detrimental effects of all these fields on the body, although it still submits the frequency.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And so even at home, like if people do kinesiology, I mean, that's like the cheapest test you can do at home. Yeah. If you're familiar with that, or you do that with your patients, you could literally test someone with their regular smartphone, maybe put that to the heart, and then get the muscle test done. Then put it in the quantum block for 3 minutes, give them the phone again, and do the test again, and you'll see a difference.
Wow. Okay, so what about the laptop? Do you suggest the same thing? I just take the one side out and then I put it in as far as I can and turn it around. Is that what you recommend?
Yes.
Okay. Now my watch, same story, 3 minutes. I put it in there. Now I've got a device. Okay. So people are going to look at this and they're going to come to my office and wanting to charge us. Let's talk about, I haven't noticed a big difference with the cards. I mean, it's difficult to become aware of the abundance card and the peace card, that it's like the heel capsule. I found a big change, maybe the sort of cards, but maybe just tell us a bit about this. And do I ever put this in the quantum block, or do I never put that in there?
Okay. No, you never put it in there unless you want to copy the frequency of the card into another object or into a glass of water, for example, and then drink the frequency. That's something you could do. Other than that, you don't, and you put it in the pocket. So literally the card doesn't have such a big field as this one or as the block. So you need to literally keep it at the body in the pocket. Okay. Or if you leverage it at night underneath the pillow or underneath the sheet.
Not in your wallet. Not in your wallet.
No, it's not good enough. No.
Okay.
I mean, unless you have your wallet right in your pocket.
Yeah, right in my pocket.
It's okay. But the closer it is to the body, the better.
Okay.
And so the abundance card is one that doesn't work overnight. I mean, it does work overnight, but those effects that's a more midterm goal to work on the inner abundance, because that's something that most all humans struggle with. We operate out of deficits, right? There's always a gap within us. Either we need love from the outside, we need chocolate from the outside to fill the gaps inside, or we need money because we just have this deficit. So the inner abundance works on all of those levels to help our own system to fill ourselves up with ourselves again. And that's a process. It's very noticeable. So people love it. It's one of our best sellers, actually, because people notice the change. Wow. We call it these cards work like little healers for your pocket. So let's say you have these issues, that you work with a shaman or with an energy healer on that. This card you can use 24/7 to work on the same thing. It's not as powerful as a dedicated session with an amazing healer for an hour, but it works over time. It accumulates and it retrains you to create this feeling. And the inner peace card, though, while it also works in the long run, it has a very, very short-term effect. Like within usually 45 seconds, most people can feel, if they hold it, that they get more into this state of inner peace. If you already have a very strong inner peace
Yeah,
state,
yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah,
very,
yeah.
very balanced, you won't see such a difference. But if you're full of fear and anxiety and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
take a moment, you feel it.
Okay, so let's talk about imprinting now. So if we put some some omega-3s here, there's a frequency that's coming from there. Do I put water in like that, and then the frequency, and how long do I leave it? And then is that water, or is it basically charged with that frequency of that omega-3?
Yes, the frequency of that will go into the glass of water, and then you can drink it. And it takes about, if you copy a frequency in the quantum log, usually it takes 45 to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But water is so receptive that usually after 30 to 45 seconds, you're done with the process, and the
Wow.
frequency is
Wow.
fully copied into that.
Wow. Okay. So
And no worries, by the way. So because people may wonder, okay, you have a plastic cap there, and then you have this piece of paper around it and glass. That doesn't matter though, because on a frequency level, it's not the same as these other frequencies, and whatever is harmful or possibly harmful is being neutralized anyway in this field. So let's say if plastic were in there, that's just ends up as a signal, as just a signal that has no meaning, if that makes sense.
Okay, the reason I asked you is we do a lot of testing on omega-3, omega-6, omega-3 ratios, and there's hardly anyone who's got the right ratio, not even close. Most of them are 25, 30 to 1, never mind under 10 to 1. So high levels of linoleic acid, omega-6, are very detrimental, stays in your cell membranes for 6 months, causes significant problems in your mitochondria. But so basically, if I want to do that, I've got it, or myself, and I'm taking it, now this water is basically got the frequency of the omega-3. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if I got two products? Now, do I put both products in there, and then the frequencies of both will be in that water? What's the best way to imprint something? Or if I want these frequencies, do I just get a metal? Because I assume you can't change this one. This is just like done.
That is correct. Yeah. So what I would do, if you want to copy a supplement on frequency onto something, just take one supplement. Don't take the whole bottle.
Yeah.
And then you can copy it. However, you can also charge the supplement itself.
Yes.
And then you can put the whole bottle in, because you optimize it. And what's also happening often, if we use really good supplements from like a really good company, we've had that before, then the supplements can be already great in nature, but the packaging usually is done and has a negative frequency, because often the packaging is just done in mass production somewhere, where there's no big consciousness. So you can neutralize that further, and you can amplify basically the effectiveness of supplements.
Amplify, optimize the effectiveness of supplements. I know we're coming to the end, so I'm very cognizant of time, but this is one of the syringes that I did today. When I put my syringes in here, because I think I do more injections in South Africa or Africa than anyone else. But I mean, so, we're doing thousands and thousands every single month. What happens to the solution now when I put it in the quantum block? And should I put them in there?
Yeah, it's being optimized, but with everything that's, I don't know what's in there, but if it's any chemical or pharma product, I would never put in for more than a minute.
Okay.
So keep it maybe at 45 seconds and you're good to go. I wouldn't want to do any overcharging with it.
Okay. And if it's a natural product, like herbal product or anything like that I'm injecting.
Yeah, then you can leave it in there for up to a minute, but even herbal products and supplements, I wouldn't charge for more than a minute.
Okay, a minute. All right, Philip, we're coming to the end of the show, and I know that you've been very gracious with your time. Tell us, just wrapping up, what you're really excited about, the future with Leela. We'll put all the sort of links and contacts. I'm excited to really do this. I really believe in it, and where people can find you, where they can buy the products, and also what discount you offering people, the audience and the viewers.
Let's start with that one. So that would be Steve10. That's the code, Steve10. And you can just go to LeelaQ.com. That's LeelaQ.com. And we also have another one that's called DE. That's for everyone in Europe. but it doesn't has a subset. Then we have a Telegram group, and that is probably the most exciting for people. Like,
Okay.
if you're interested in this, and you don't have to buy a product. This is not about that. Like, it's giving access to information, amazing research on products that are extremely cutting edge. But you
Yeah.
can learn there in the Quantum Power group. I'll send you the link for that
Yes.
group.
Good.
It's because it's a private group. Like, you won't be able to find it. You literally have to have an invite link in order to
Okay.
join. There's 4,800 members now in that group.
Wow.
And you'll hear from real-time users and people that use the products, like what they experience, what they discover, how it has helped them, and what new things they do with it. It's really cool. Then you don't hear it from me, you hear it really from the people themselves. And it's a great place. It's a great vibe group. That's what I recommend there. You can even get in touch with me because I'm active in the group as well.
Okay.
And other than that, I'm really excited about this community aspect of the whole thing, but also about some of the great research that's still coming, because we have a study, a D-dimer test study that's actually going to start, run by a clinic here in Florida relatively soon. That's going to be super exciting. We have quantum upgrade charging service that we'll be launching in June. That's exciting. And then, yeah, there's a clinical study with autistic kids that has been ongoing for about 7 or 8 months in India. And I think hopefully in the next 3-4 months, we'll be able to get all the results back. It looks extremely promising, but I'm looking forward to really digging into that and sharing the data.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time. Declare favor and blessing over you, that you will receive so much love, so much hope, so much faith in a very desperate, despair-filled world. I thank you for your calling, and I pray that you would continue and investigating and using and building a community and changing lives, and just lifting up this consciousness. It's wonderful to connect with you. I know that we're going to speak again. We might be other sides of the world, but I really, really appreciate you sending me all this thing. I'm checking it out. I love it. I'm going to try and get it out in Africa. You Africans listening, go to LeelaQ.com. I really think this is real. It is not woo-woo. Well, it is woo-woo, but it's woo-woo that is backed by science and research. So thank you so much, Philip.
Thank you so much, Steve, for all that you're doing. Thanks for having me on. And also thanks to the audience. And I hope you all have a great rest of the week.